Hey guys, welcome back to Gamed, a 6-month project where we make a game a month and share how it went with you all. We are back this month. Well, a little more than a month this time, but still back. Back with our fourth game, Misplaced, an escape room in the form of a text adventure. For this game's video, we decided to try something a little bit different. We want to take you guys along on the journey of making the first level. Hope it is interesting for you all to see because it was a blast for us to make. Since this is a puzzle game, we recommend you play the game first. Check out the link in the description. Consider this your spoiler warning because we will spoil the first level completely. And now, without further ado, let's dive in. The whole process for making the levels for this game was with brainstorming, discussions, and throwing ideas until something stuck. No matter the part we are dealing with, be it the whole game's theme, a level, or even down to a specific puzzle. We generally started with what we wanted that part to achieve and started filling in the tinier gaps from there. And hopefully, at the end, it gives the semblance that we knew what we were planning to do from the start. So, what exactly did we want this game to do? At this higher level, there is no absolute right or wrong decisions in our minds. Most of these constraints are arbitrary and whatever we want to experiment with for the month's challenge. So, this is what we started with. First, it had to use no imagery. Well, almost no imagery. Second, the player should be able to move around in the room somehow through the text. And third, it needs to have puzzles to solve as this is an escape room. First levels of games are generally tutorials, getting players familiar with the way mechanics work and making them feel comfortable by letting them play around and explore the system, which is exactly what we wanted this level to do. Starting here also made it easy for us to focus on flow, navigation, and exposition for the first level, since making a difficult puzzle really wasn't the goal. Actually, quite contrary, it had to be easy. We started with figuring out what all we really wanted this game to have, what it could possibly have, and what it really needed to have. It generally helps us to get a look at both ends of the spectrum. The least number of things we need to add to make the game work, and our won't really happen in a month list. So, the most basic mechanics we settled on were first, bunch of layers of places and things stacked in a hierarchy that the player can explore. Second, items that they can pick up and use at other places. Third, things they can change the state of. And fourth, finally, the locks that they can unlock. With this, we started laying out the structure for our first level. Imagine you are stuck in some sort of study with a locked door. The aim of the game is to, well, you guessed it, escape the room. We needed to compartmentalize part of the room in a way that most of the information is now concealed from the first level. We really needed that to make the first level actually play out in an interesting but also not overwhelming way. Something where we are sort of controlling the pace of the level, no matter what path the player chooses to take. It also gives the later levels something else to explore in the room. We went ahead with the simplest way, turning the light off. The room is dark and only some parts of the room are visible, precisely the parts that we want to show. Game design really gives you way too much power. We started off with a simple layout for the level with 4 places to explore, with each serving its purpose. A bookshelf, something which will indicate that it is too dark and you need some light to see what's on it. A hint on what to do next. Well, less like a hint and more like a billboard. A sofa and a table, together which we will use to stage our puzzle. And a door, whose purpose I will tell you in a little while. We really liked the idea of playing with light and dark, so we ended up adding an element of it both on the sofa and the table, but more on that a little later. Since the room is dark, the end goal of level 1 becomes that we need to switch on the light. Now, where do we keep the switch? It had to be behind some sort of lock, and even though nowhere we were trying to be realistic in this whole narrative, even we had to give up on the idea of a computer code locked electric switchboard. So we decided to keep a bulb in a locked drawer in the table and a lamp which you can place the bulb on. With our level taking some sort of form, we started discussing how does one unlock the drawer with the precious bulb. Our game didn't have any sort of imagery, So we knew we had to come up with an interesting way to hide the information for every lock. So we decided that rather than a simple number lock, we have a group of sliders which we can have different markings and knobs on. This helped us create a lot of different puzzles from the same slider system. Of course, in essence, they are the same thing. But an interesting skin gives rise to a bunch of variations which really helped us in making puzzles that feel different. Anyway, back to this drawer. We wanted to keep it pretty basic. A puzzle which requires two sets of information and you can easily combine them to unlock the drawer. We put one on the sofa and one on the table. The table has some papers and the papers have some numbers scribbled on them. You get the numbers from the papers, but of course they are not in the right order, because why would they be? The sofa has an envelope with a poem written, a fancy love poem with a lot of colors mentioned in it. Side note, this is my first and last time writing one. You use the order from the colors in the poem to match the drawer knobs, since they are also colored. And that's it. We have the drawer locked properly. So, back to using the presence and absence of light on the table and sofa. We really wanted to make sure that the player got to explore all the basic mechanics of the game before this level ends, and make sure that the whole level narratively ties in well. After a lot of back and forth on tedious details about the orientation of the room in a text based game, this is the final flow we ended up settling for. The room is dark, so you walk to the table. There are some papers and a lamp on it. You can't read the papers because, well, it is dark. You try turning the lamp on, it starts with a flicker but only gives a faint light, just enough to read the papers. You also notice that there was a drawer that you didn't notice without the light. We really liked this part because it showcased that a light shows you more things than you could see before there was light. For the sofa, there's a sofa with a cushion and an envelope on it. When you click on the envelope, unlike other things till now, you actually pick it up and it goes in your inventory. When you click on the cushion, something falls under the sofa. As you try to look for what it was, you realize you can't see anything, as, well, it's too dark. With these two locations done, the only thing left was to teach how to use the envelope. We had already shown that the lamp light was bright enough to read on, so the player just had to go to the lamp and use that light to read the hint. And that's it. Put the code in and you get the bulb in the drawer. And as soon as you fit that into the lamp, the whole room lights up. Whew, that was a lot of things. But we just need to do one more tiny little part. That door is still standing there with no purpose. Overall, with this, we were quite happy with how the level was playing out. It introduces the player to all the mechanics, gets them familiar with the setup, and ends with a lot of new exploration to dive into. The only thing we still wanted to change was the introduction part of the level, or more like the game since this is the first level. The room initially has 4 choices from the start. If we just threw the player directly into them, it felt like it would be quite cumbersome. We didn't want to cut down the number of locations since they are quite important for the first level to work and give it enough depth. On top of that, we also had to come up with a narrative point in the start to really tie in how the gameplay would work. Finally, we settled on having the game start as our protagonist faces the door, which as a player would only give you one choice to go on. Once you explore the locked doorknob, you go back to explore the rest of the room. This gives players a chance to familiarize themselves with the mechanics before giving them choices to explore. It also ends up tying a neat little bow on the whole chapter. You end up starting the game with the final objective of the game right in front of you. You have to unlock the door. And with this, we are finally done. Well, this and 2 more levels, visuals, music, sound effect, development, and a couple of mental breakdowns later, we are actually done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought of the game. The link for this game and the rest of our games are in the description. For the next month, we are doing something super exciting. 2 super talented artists, our brother Devanshu and our amazing friend Varun, are joining us for a super fun collaboration. See you all next time.